In the previous chapter, we have seen many life processes which are very important for carrying out the life. So the existence of life is all about the metabolic processes. Whether they are able to carry out the metabolic processes or not is the one thing which is responsible for existence of life. So that means these metabolic processes are playing very important role. So can you tell me the processes which you have studied in the last class, last chapter? Yes, anybody? So which are all the life processes which you have studied? Yes?
Nutrition, respiration,
Respiration you have studied, good. Then?
Digestion, sir.
Digestion, good. Digestion or let me say nutrition. Any problem with that? Okay. So nutrition, then?
Transportation.
Yeah, transportation. Transportation of nutrition. Then?
Excretion.
We also have discussion about locomotion. Excretion, like this we are having here. And whenever you are running fast, or whenever you are involved in more physical exercises, let me say, what are the changes which you have noticed? So if you are running fast, what are all the physical changes you can notice here? ಏನೇನಾಗ್ತವಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ? Yes? What are all the changes you were able to see whenever there was more or vigorous, let me say, physical activity? Vigorous ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಂತ, ಅತಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. When you are running, yes? Will it be normal as you are sitting in the class?
Stress, sir.
No, then?
Respire fast.
Pardon me? We may? Yes, you are correct. So you
Respire fastly or breathe fastly.
So that is breathing. Let me say breathing. So the rate of breathing is going to increase. Then what else will happen? What else? That's all? So what about the heart here? If you take, so the heartbeat also increases. Is it not? And whenever you are having more physical activities, quite naturally you will be taking more food when you compare to the situation where you are not involved much in physical activity. If I am correct? Am I correct or not? Am I correct? So, whenever there is increase in the breathing or maybe the heartbeat, increase in the rate of heartbeat here, and you can also see whenever we are doing a lot of physical work, that means the movement of our muscles. So then that is going to be responsible for increasing the uptake of, or you can say intake of food in the case of human beings. So then how come whenever we are running, whenever we are moving our muscles, how come our lungs come to know that so I have to breathe more? How do they come to know? Then how come the heartbeat is going to increase there? So there is increase and decrease in the rate of heartbeat. And there is increase or decrease in the rate of breathing. Inspiration and also expiration. How is it all possible here? How is it all possible? So you can see even the movement and locomotion. So movement and locomotion. So this is also another metabolic activity here. So always there should be something which is interlinking all these things here. Interlinking means, so the one which is connecting. So that means all these activities are to be, all activities need to be coordinated. Need to be coordinated. Need to be coordinated. That need to be coordinated. Then what else should happen here? Then secondly, so whenever you are not involving much physically, so the heart rate is going to decrease. And once you run faster, maybe let me say 100-meter dash, or maybe what about the board now? Is it clear? Is it clear now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now? Is it clear now?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
Yes? So, all these activities, whatever the process we are taking, that needs to be coordinated. There should be link between all these activities here. And once you go for a bit rash, let me say a physical activity, or let me say you are playing football. So all the boys you are playing football in the unit. And after or maybe you are running for 100 meter or maybe say 400 meter. After which you will be so let me say taking rest then. Initially you will be having a more heartbeat and later on it becomes normal. How is it made possible? How is it made possible? So there should be something which is going to control our heartbeat also. Maybe our rate of breathing here. So that's why all the activities need to be coordinated. First thing, the most important thing. So there should be, secondly, there should be control also. There should be control also. So all activities have to be coordinated and also controlled here. This control and coordination is done by two things here. Done by one is nervous system, which is involved in our body. In all the animals, this nervous system is involved in the control and coordination. So then, what else is responsible for controlling and coordinating all these activities? Any idea? So this is the, you know about the hormones. Do you know about hormones? Anybody in India about hormones?
Yes, sir.
So anyway, we will speak about those hormones. So these hormones are nothing but the chemicals which are secreted in very small quantity and which are controlling and coordinating most of the life processes in the body, including plants. Okay, so plants do not have nervous system, but animals do have the nervous system in this case here. So here nervous system is there and also the hormonal system, which we call it as endocrine system. What is the system called? Endocrine system. Both nervous system and also endocrine system are responsible for controlling and coordinating the activities in the body. So in this chapter, let us see this control and coordination. So control and coordination. So this is very important from the point of any organism, because all these activities need to be controlled and coordinated. Otherwise the existence of the individual itself is going to be at stake. For example, we are speaking about in the excretion. So once the urinary bladder is filled with urine, that micturition or urination has to happen here. So who is going to control that urination? So again, it is our nervous system which is going to play important role in that case here. So like that you take any activity, those activities need to be controlled and coordinated. That is done by this particular system which we call it as the nervous system and also endocrine system. Endocrine system is nothing but the hormones which are there here. That's why we also call it as hormonal system. Hormonal, where the hormones are going to be involved in this. So let us see that we also call it as hormone control and also coordination. So then let us see one by one in this. So first let us take up the which system shall we take? First let us take up this 1 minute. So let us see this nervous system first. This nervous system is having important components. So it is having important components. So one is, what is that? So in our nervous system, it is the neurons which are going to play a very important role. Neurons which are also called nerve cells. Okay. So these neurons play important role. Apart from that, other components like the brain is there, of course, which is made up of neurons and other tissues which are there here, and spinal cord again, which is made up of this one. What is that? The neurons. So neurons, then brain, the control center, then spinal cord. In the case of animals like us. And in this, we will speak about all the things here. So what is this neuron? So let me take neuron or nerve cell. And in this, if you want, you can have even sensory organs. Sensory organs. Can you see the board? Can you see the board or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you know, the neuron is the structural and also functional unit of an organism. It is the one. What do you mean by structural and also functional unit? What do you mean by structural and also functional unit?
Sir.
Yes, you are correct. See how to draw the diagram of neuron. So you have to draw the diagram. So like this, one small outline you can have, outline circle you can have here. So then you can find it. In a very simple manner, you can show like this. You can see, I can make it more longer. See, you can write as many endings as you want. These are called nerve endings. Then here in the center we are having the nucleus. This is the nucleus. A very prominent nucleus is present here. Then you can see like this branching we can find here. Branching. You can show as many branches as you want. Okay. So see this one. Okay. Then around this some nasal granules we call them. And another important thing is there in some of the neuron, so you can see this thin line, this one, you know, this is called axon, and also that axon is covered by a sheath. Okay, here we have to show the nucleus. Okay, so let us see here what are the things here. So you have nucleus, very prominent nucleus, and this one, can you tell me what is this actually? The branches are there, you know, they are called dendrons or dendrites. Dendron, which is also called dendrite. And the cytoplasm which is present in the neuron is said to be neuroplasm. It is said to be neuroplasm. Then around this you can see the grain-like structures which are concentrated around the nucleus, which we call them as Nissl granules. Nissl granules, named after the scientist Nissl. Then you can see this entire part, this particular part where the nucleus is concentrated and also neuroplasm is concentrated along with the dendron is said to be the cell body. Is said to be cell body. What is this called? Cell body. And the thin fiber-like structure which is extending from this cell body is what we call it as, what is this called? What is this called? Axon. What is this called? Axon. You can see that, you know, that is called axon. And so this axon is covered by sheath in some cases. Some neurons, the axon in some neurons is covered by a sheath called myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. So such neurons are said to be myelinated neurons. Myelin sheath, and they have some nodes, we call them as the node of Ranvier. Node of Ranvier. Again named after the scientist by name Ranvier. And you can see this, the length of the axon varies from neuron to neuron, and so you know the entire neuron is almost fiber-like. Especially the axon you can find, and they are going to end with the terminal end, you can see, and that we call it as the, what is that? Terminal end of the neuron. So that is the one which is going to help in connecting with the other neurons, which we call them as synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft, or they are going to form the nerving, ends in this case here. So that we call it as nerve ending. Nerve ending. This is the structure of neuron. See this one. So this is the structure of neuron. So like this, we have, in the case of neuron, these are all the parts which are present here. So the neuron is divided into two main parts. Which are they? Which are the two main parts?
Cell body next.
Cell body. This is cell body, and this one is axon, divided into two parts. Then within the cell bodies, you can see the branches. So that is the dendrons which are there here. So these are the extensions from the cell body, and they are the ones which are going to help in getting the nerve impulses, or maybe the stimulus. So they receive the stimulus or nerve impulses from the other neurons. So these are the dendrons you can see. And then within that you can find the nucleus which is present here, and in the cell the cytoplasm, which we also call it as neuroplasm, is present here. So in that you can find the nucleus. Then some little granules are present here, and this cell body extends as a very fine fiber-like structure called axon, which conducts the nerve impulses. So the dendron is responsible for receiving the nerve impulses or maybe the stimulus, and if they receive the stimulus in some other form, they can generate the nerve impulses. So they can generate the nerve impulses. That is the important function you can find in this case here. Then, so these, if you take the axon, in some cases, some neurons, so almost 50% of them are covered with the myelin sheath, and that we call it as myelinated neuron. Then you can find the nerve endings which are going to get connected to the next neuron. So that interconnectivity is made possible because of this particular neuron here. So like this, we have this particular neuron which is going to play very important role in the control and coordination in the case of animals. Okay, 1 minute, I will show you the presentation. You can see the any doubt regarding this? And you can see in the nervous system, or say are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I have a look at this? So there are three important functions. One is receiving, and secondly processing and responding. These are the three important functions of anything which is involved in control and coordination. They have to receive the stimuli. That stimulus has to be processed here, and response has to be given here. So for this, the control and coordination is important. In that, nervous system plays very important role in that. Okay. So you can see the neuron and its structure. You can find this is axon. These are all the axons. You can have as many branches as you want, I told you. And a prominent nucleus. Then neuroplasm. This is neuroplasm. That is called soma in this. And you can see this particular part forms the cell body. Okay. And this is the axon. You can find continuous fiber, and this is covered by myelin sheath in some cases here, not in all neurons. So this cell body is responsible for receiving the signals. That is what we call it as information is acquired here. But the transmission of this information in the form of nerve impulses is done by what is that part? Which part is responsible for transmission? Which part of the neuron? Axon is responsible for transmission. That's good. And you can find your nerve endings. Suppose if the neurons are there, suppose if they have to be taken to the longer distances, quite naturally they are going to get connected with another neuron. But here, suppose if it is connected to, what is that which is going to act, or which part of the body has to receive the signals here? It is said to be the muscles, which we call them as effectors. They are the ones which are responsible for movement and other things based on the stimulus. So they are going to get connected with the nerve endings of the neurons are going to get connected with the muscles here, or muscle fibers. So where they receive the messages here, and based on that they are going to act here. So this is about the neuron structure, which you can see here. You can find how our nervous system is going to function, how our nervous system is going to function in this. So anyway, this we will take up again about the sensory organs and other things in the next class. Any question here? Any doubts? Got it clear? So take the homework question. Draw the neat label diagram of neuron. Draw a neat label diagram of neuron. And I told you they are connected, this is called synaptic cleft. What is this called? Where the neuron joins with the muscle fibers, or maybe with another neuron, that joint, or you can also call it as junction. I will say that is called synaptic cleft. What is that called? Synaptic cleft. So where if they are joining with the muscles, that is called neuromuscular junction. That is also called neuromuscular junction. So take the homework. I think I told you